Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Kevin McGovern, and it's time for another game show. If you're looking for the dating game, the Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, or Match Game, you're in the wrong spot because the game show is an acronym for my functional movement exam. If you've been tuning in, you know that. I have a very special guest today, Dr. Sean Walsh, who was a East Coaster, but got really smart and moved to Florida, where a cash-paying PT is much more accepted, and he's built a little business for himself down there that's mobile. But I'm going to let him tell you about that. So, Doctor, welcome. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks so much, Doctor. First of all, if this was a dating show, I got married 2 months ago, so you're in the wrong pool.
Well, I got divorced. I can show you the separation agreement if you want to
Oh,
see.
well, hopefully not, but maybe in a few
Congratulations.
years we can have a conversation. No, not at all. But
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, it's exciting to be here.
So tell me a little about your background. Where you're from, where you went to
Mhm.
school, kind of like where you started off working. You did work at kind of a famous little place you can touch on, and then what you're doing now.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm originally from New Jersey. Was an athlete growing up.
Does that
Got
make you a
recruited.
Yankee fan?
I got a weird background. My dad's from Massachusetts, so I'm actually a Red Sox fan.
I'm a Yankee fan, but go on. All right, we'll skip that.
I know the Yankees are huge down here in Tampa, so
Yes, they are.
I have to dip my toe in that water a little bit. So yeah, I went to University of Connecticut. I ran track and field there. I was a decathlete, so I did a little bit of everything. Um, and then after school, I wanted to stay involved in athletics. I was working what you can consider a regular PT job. I was working for Select Physical Therapy for 2 years. Had the opportunity to go to work at TB12, so Tom Brady's clinic in Boston, Massachusetts. And then when he made the move down here to Tampa during COVID, I had the opportunity to move down and help start the clinic down here. So
Okay, great.
here in Tampa, yeah, I was here for a couple years in Tampa, or I'm sorry, for about 1 year at the TB12 clinic, and then I've had my own operation for about 2 years.
Cool. So you went out on your own.
Mhm.
And why did you want to start that? How did you start that? And tell us your business model.
Yeah, so I wanted to start that. I had the goal of that since I was in school. I saw what was available and I saw the potential, and I had no idea what cash based physical therapy. I figured like who's walking around with wads of cash that they can just throw at physical therapy. Yeah, and who's balling out there? Yeah.
Right.
Turns out you could take credit cards and checks and all that. So
Yes.
figure that out pretty early on. But so TB12 is a cash-based clinic. They don't accept insurance. It was actually the perfect transition out of traditional physical therapy. I got to learn that model a little bit. And then moving down here to Tampa, I just saw the potential. I didn't see a lot. I know there are a lot around here. I didn't cross paths with many, and I thought there's an opportunity here. So that was basically my inspiration. I had a few people that were backing me that said, "Yeah, you should do this," because you could always fall back on a regular clinical job. So I took a chance and not looking back.
Awesome. So you're mobile, right? So tell
I,
me
I
how
am
your
mobile.
day. Yeah. So tell me how that works, and
Yep.
obviously you drive to the client's house, like So
Mhm.
tell me kind of like what a typical visit might look like.
Sure. Well, I'll start off by saying I probably have the best setup out of anybody that I know. I
All right.
live
I
in
like
a
that.
I live in a luxury apartment complex, and
Yep.
where I'm presenting from right now is there's two massage rooms here. They originally had a contract with I think it was Massage Envy, and they just weren't driving enough business through Massage Envy. Right around that time that Massage Envy left, I left TV12, and I stepped right into an opportunity that I am the exclusive user of this massage room. So I have
Okay.
this, and
So people
I have a
could come to see you in this room. Okay,
yeah, I'm
great.
a bit hybrid. I do a portion of my work out of here, but most of it's mobile. Shout out to the Altice Grand Central people. They've been such a blessing for my career so
All
far.
right.
So
Shout out. All right. We
um,
like that.
shout it out. So,
It
but
just
what I
seems like
do,
there's nothing like your setup in Massachusetts. It's like a whole different world in business in Florida. It truly is. It really is. It really is.
it's unbelievable, and I can walk you through. I won't, but I can walk you through and show you my rooftop pool that overlooks downtown Tampa. And if I tell you what I'm paying for rent here, you're going to be pretty upset. So.
You're probably gonna be.
Anyways, but so what I do is I have a massage table in the back seat of my car. I have a Honda Civic. It's not a big car, but it fits my massage table. in the trunk, I do a lot of resistance band training. I find that you can get almost everything done with resistance bands that you can with anything else. So um, yesterday I had 4 visits. I did a 30-minute drive out to Clearwater, came back to Tampa, did a session here, 30-minute drive up north to Lutz, and then another local appointment here. So I drive to people's houses. I supply the table, the towels, the lotion. I do a lot of manual therapy, and then I do all the resistance band work there as well. So pretty easy setup.
That's fantastic. So how, what are you using for software to track, or how are you doing your like practice management stuff?
Yeah, yeah. This is something that's probably a work in progress. I take several forms of payment. Um, for credit cards, I use Square. I do take cash. I
Yep.
take check. I take Venmo, Cash App. Trying to think of some unique ways people have paid me. I've done some goods for services every now and then, just
Yep.
old school bartering.
Yep.
Um, but for the most part, I keep track of everything on Excel. Um,
Nice.
yeah, my overhead right now is super low. I'm super
That,
lean.
that's fantastic. So right before we get on the air, you were talking about training a PTA. So you're looking at growing. So talk to me about that.
It's been exciting.
Is that a little nervous too? When you're like, oh, do I got to meet payroll, or is it going to be a little eat what you kill? How are you going to work it out with the
Yeah,
film?
it's a little nerve wracking, but I got to say I'm lucky. Like everything I've done in my career, it's my own practice, but it takes a village you know, to raise a person, to raise a business. So I've had such good people supporting me, and now I think I got the best guy in the business coming on with me. He's a
That's great.
baseball player at U was a baseball player at USF, and training him's just been a breeze. He's been fantastic. So um, yeah, I mean it's a little bit more work on my end, working through payroll and trying to figure some of those things out. But you got to figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
You can't undergo paralysis by analysis. Sometimes you
No.
just got to jump in.
Absolutely. And now, how are you marketing for, you know, your patients? Is it word of mouth? Are you doing social media ads? What are
hmm
you doing?
I've run one Facebook ad and I've got 0 hits. So
Yeah.
I need to be better
Sometimes
at that.
sometimes it's hit or miss. I can
Yeah.
kind of help you with that a little bit, but it is no matter what
Yeah.
these gurus. Oh, I can get you 20 patients through. No, it's hit or miss. It really
Yeah.
is. And sometimes when it hits, it's good, and when it misses, it's bad.
Yeah. My model, for the most part, I think almost every single one of my clients has been word of mouth.
That's
I
fantastic.
approach things with, I try to be as forthcoming and honest with people. And I say, look, I want to see you as little as possible. Um, it's good for them. It's honest for them because they're used to seeing clinicians that say, I need to see you 3 times a week for the next 6 weeks, which sometimes that's the case and sometimes that happens. But if you approach things with the mindset of, we're going to work together on this, and I'm not going to dictate care to you. We're going to figure it out kind of together at the same speed. But again, my objective is always for people to feel confident on their own, and that tends to work like a charm. People are like, well, I want to stay with you. So it's almost like a little bit of reverse psychology where you're saying like, oh, I don't want to see you that much, which is honest. It's true on my part. I really want people to get better, but you develop that trust, and then people I find are more likely to say, hey, go see this guy because he's going to help you out.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what? Tell me like a little bit about what your goal is. What are you trying to, you know,
Yeah,
grow? Are
I
you
want to.
trying to monopolize? What are we doing here?
I want to take over. I want to take. No, I do. I do want to. I everybody's a little bit braggadocious sometimes. I think I do a good job. I believe in what I do, so I want to spread that word to as many people as possible. And for me, it's easy. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like I am helping people. Do I get paid to do it? Yes. It is a job. But I'd like to be the guy in Tampa that people come to, and I've actually had people visit from out of state. I've been blessed to still work with some professional athletes, and that's been awesome. They're fun guys. A lot of them are super down to earth. I've had a couple people that come to town just to say, yeah, I'm here just to see you, get a couple treatment sessions, then I'm going back to California, Tennessee, whatever it is.
Well, do they pay? Because sometimes they don't like to part with their money.
They pay.
Good for you.
If they don't pay, I don't need to see you. That's fine.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So it's been fun, but long term goals, yeah, I would like to grow the practice. I would like to figure out a pretty sustainable model for remote work and for mobile therapy. Um, I'd like to stay away from insurance as long as I can. Some people they want to use their insurance and that's fine. But as long as I can keep this going, I'm going to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a couple insurance. I think is going to take a downturn when we get offline. I'll tell you about a little case in Erie, Pennsylvania that you should look into. Case it was
Okay.
five places where I've been following it since November of I think 19 or 20. It happened.
Yeah.
FBI came in, they raided them. Biggest thing on their end, there was some whistleblower, but as you know from working, well, you don't necessarily. Well, maybe at Select you had that of seeing,
Hmm.
you know, or four or five, six people an hour. They were
Hmm.
doing that and billing for an hour, which is
Yeah.
each person for an hour, and that's how they got
Yep.
pinched. 18 therapists indicted. But
No kidding.
do
Well,
I think that's fraud by the law? Yes, but you're delivering a great service. I don't know, but 18 people got indicted. That's just so that's
yeah.
gonna make things turn on their end. Everyone does it.
Well,
Everyone, all these people do it.
everyone does it, I know, and in my mind, it poisons the well a little bit. So when
Yep.
people think of physical therapy, unfortunately, they think of that. It's I'm in there. My dad went to physical therapy he had a meniscectomy. He was recommended to go 2 times a week for 6 weeks. I think for 5 of those weeks, when he went in, he didn't talk to anybody. He went in. They said, "Do you know what you're doing?" Yep. Okay. And I was like, "Dad, that's not physical therapy. Go to the
Oh,
gym."
it's terrible. It's terrible. It's
So,
and I kind of position myself here, Massachusetts, as like the last stop. I wish that I can sometimes take my new moniker is physical therapy, but different, because people think physical therapy. They think I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna get heat, I'm gonna get
yeah.
stim, someone's gonna be doing their notes, I'm gonna get this pull, push, boom, and I'm out the door in 35 minutes. And that's not
Hmm.
what I do at all, and that's not what
No,
you do. That's why
that's not.
we're in
It's not why we went to
this.
school.
No, no. Which now is a perfect segue to what this, our little topic today is really about social media. I'm
Hmm.
on the baseball side. I see a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Everything I see on social media, I completely disagree with. I think
Uh-huh.
it's not like on my end of and these are, and I'll see it from not only pitching instructors. There's a lot of PTs in this space doing things like these running guns, kids running up, throwing a ball, doing a somersault, sticking the landing, and be like, oh, 92. What are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah,
And
yeah. Check that
I'm like,
velocity.
oh my God, like what? And it just, I cringe. And then I'll see other PTs like, teaching a deadlift or a squat. There goes the knees first. I'm like, what are
Mm,
you doing?
yeah.
So what are you seeing? Are you seeing the same things? Does it make it cringeworthy? I mean, I tell people to please, because they're like, oh, I saw this on social. I'm like, shut your social media off, please. So, like, what do you see out there, or am I just
Yeah.
a guy on an island alone complaining?
No, no, I'm with you. Well, it's hard because what gets views and what gets clicks are the cool, innovative, new exercises, which a lot of times don't really have their place in training. Um, it's a cool trick. I
Great
I
point.
was thinking about it. It's a lot of these are like they're the Ferraris, like so they're like your fancy sports cars. So like you said, you got someone doing a cartwheel, double backflip, chucking the ball 97. Um, it's not really what you do. That's you got these young kids. I say it's your Ferrari because when you're driving, I just think of my first car was an old beat up Toyota Avalon that had 120,000 miles onto it or on it. I
Mine
had to
was
start
a
there.
1978 light blue Chevy Nova. So go on,
Ooh.
little difference in age, but that's okay.
No, that's closer than that's closer to your Ferrari than I think mine was. Um, but you got to start with the basics, right? You got to start with just like grinding out the basic movement patterns. And the people who drive Ferraris are the people who have been successful in their careers. Um, they have the capability and ability to do those things, but they didn't start at the Ferrari. That's not your first jumping off point. But when we see some of these things on social media, that you have someone with, training age is one of the things I like to talk about. That their training age is eons and years above your own. you can't expect to be able to do something like that. First of all, do it. And second of all, use it as a training mechanism. It doesn't make sense. Um, so unfortunately, we're at that stage where they feel the need to do some of these exercises so people click and follow their pages. Um, I like to view things from a positive standpoint. I like to think that's the rationale that people are doing this, so people will go to their page. I hope not everybody's giving everybody these exercises, but it's a way for people to get to their page. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and then and I agree with you on some points, but then like you'll
Sure.
post something and not certainly not attack anyone, but show this
Hmm.
is really what should happen by this book we all took. Kinesiology. So we
Kinesiology.
all took that, and then all of a sudden you start getting attacked, by these haters, mostly because I've been told, as soon as you get a hater, you're really infringing on their BS that they're telling the whole, now that you're telling the
Hmm.
truth. So it took me a
Yep.
while to realize, okay, just bite your tongue and not say anything. But I'm like, dude, like, we all sat in the same class. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you teaching these run and guns, knowing that the last thing in the kinetic chain should move is the arm, and how are you, you know, getting a stable service to move about as someone's running forward and doing these pull downs? Oh, Nolan
Yeah.
Ryan did. Yeah, show me one video of Nolan Ryan doing that, and I'll give you $1 million. Right? Like, come on,
Yeah.
man, stop. You know,
Yeah, no, I mean, the old school guys, forget about it. They weren't doing anything.
no,
And I'm lucky enough, again, I do work with some professional athletes. One of my favorite questions to them is, what is your team doing right now for your strength and conditioning program? Not once have I heard any of these movements. It's your basic squats, your deadlifts. There are some explosive movement patterns, but they're safe. They're not super compound. So it's not really the way that the pro guys are training, but you might see a video that says, this is what the pros are doing. And then,
right.
yeah, you get all those backflips in there.
Well, that leads to another question. Like at least I know I follow baseball more than any other sport. The injury
Mhm.
rate, I think, in all sports is going through. We've got allegedly much better training, right? I hope you and I are better, but yet it's not parlaying out in statistics. I mean, you got guys. Take my Yankees for instance, who have we'll leave the wellness, who's handling the wellness component out of this, but who have the last 3 or 4 years have led all of baseball in injuries,
Mhm.
catastrophic elbow injuries from pitching, shoulder injuries. But even like I'm going to run 90 feet and make a left, and these guys are out 7, 8 weeks with hamstrings. I mean, Gio Urshela the other day fractured his pelvis running to first base. Like
No
he
kidding.
crossed,
Oh,
yeah, he hit. I'm
oh,
like, why is this happening? Like, are these guys just doing the beach muscles? Are they just doing the deadlifts, the high intensity things, and forgetting about the core muscles, the core movements? What are
mhm.
you seeing out there? If you're working on the professional side, what are you seeing out
Yeah.
there?
Well, I think the most important part, and this is especially true for professional athletes, but really all levels, is as someone who has touch points with an athlete, training, physical therapy, we're part of a whole, but we're not the whole. And I think a lot of people think that they are the whole. So I've run into some strength coaches, personal trainers, physical therapists, chiropractors, you name it. I've seen it. That what they are doing in their mind is the most important thing for that athlete. So therefore, the most amount of time needs to be spent with that athlete. And now, if you have 4 or 5 guys that all think that way, we're running into overtraining, right? So some of these soft tissue injuries, you've got these guys that, even me from a rehab standpoint, I got to rehab, say, your hamstring. So we're going to go to town on it today. And then little do I know, the strength and conditioning coach is thinking the same thing, maybe that day or the next day. And now the load that's being put on some of these structures and tissues is way more than it should be. Um, I like to, again, this is what I'm thinking. I'm not sure who's going to have the real answers, but communication, I think, is the most important thing
Right.
amongst professionals.
So in that case, go
Mhm.
ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I'm independent, but I still have to understand that I'm part of a team. So for me to
Right.
communicate with people is pretty important, and that's what I try to do.
So in that situation, is there a captain of this team? Is there a point? I see that. I see 1,000% agree with you. There's too many hands in the cookie jar, and not
Mhm.
saying that you need to be. All the hands probably do need to be in there, but I don't see this medical management. Like, look, you can't do 50 minutes of PT doing squats and then come and go and do deadlifts because you're learning how to do a squat over here, and now this guy's taxing the tissue, and now they're
Mhm.
just getting re-injured because I don't. It just doesn't take 12 weeks to fix a hamstring unless it's in two pieces. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But I think is that do you see that there's no point person handling this, like a medical manager, a case manager? What do you
Yeah.
see going on?
I think that's exactly right. It's a middle school dance. Like we're all on one side, they're on one side. Who's going to make the first move? Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and say, look, this is what I'm planning on doing. What are you planning on doing? And then from there, you can help reach a consensus. And, sometimes you might have to think that you're the smartest person in the room. You might not be, but you have to start to make some of those judgment calls of, okay, so you just deadlifted. Let's take it easy today. Let's do some of your more fine-tuned movements. So sometimes you just have to be that guy that says, like, let me understand what you're doing. And then,
Right.
so, with on the pro level, I would hope everybody in the same facility is communicating. I really do. So, where's the breakdown? What's going on? Is the hitting coach now doing too much after lifting? Is so on and so forth.
Now these guys are going to see you, which means they're going outside the organization, paying their own money, which means in the back of their mind, they don't feel like something is happening correctly, right? Or they wouldn't be, if everything was utopian like the apartment building you live in. But obviously they're like, I don't really get it. And maybe that is what's the issue is that there's this like, if you're working on squat with somebody and then they're doing deadlift, like, no, dude, we're not there yet. But then they've already done it, and now they've kind of regressed, taken 3 steps forward and 1.5 steps back. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, no, I agree. And a lot of that information can be obtained from the athlete as long as they're good at understanding and a good narrator of what's actually going on. The reason I stick with a lot of manual therapy and specifically soft tissue work is because a lot of my guys are already getting that elsewhere. Hey, do you feel pretty good with what you're doing with your lifts, your workouts? Yeah, cool. All right, this is what I'm going to provide. It sounds like you're not already getting that, so this is my piece of the puzzle right now.
Cool. What's your go-to manual treatment? What do you like to do?
I like doing. It's a mulligan-esque movement, but it's with soft tissue. So say if somebody is having some knee pain with squatting or open kinetic chain knee extension, I'm going to work the quads with that movement. So I'm going to, like the mulligan, for those who don't know, if you're not a clinician, is mobilization with movement. So for an ankle, for a knee, I'm approaching that from a soft tissue standpoint. Because a lot of these people, like we talked about, are overtaxing their soft tissue as it is. I do think deep pressure manual therapy can help relax some of those overtaxed muscles. And then again, we can go through some of those movement patterns. I might have someone doing a wall sit against the wall here, and I'll strip through their quads. And I find it to be pretty helpful.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, so how do people find you?
How do
they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So I do have a website. It's walshtraining.com. So my company's name is Walsh Performance and Training. I do have an Instagram page too, and it's Walsh_training. But most people are just finding me word of mouth right now, and that's cool with me too.
Okay. Do you do any remote training if someone in my audience or something wanted to get a hold of you? Like, are you doing stuff online? Are you doing some telehealth stuff? Talk to me about that.
I've touched on it in the past. It's not a huge avenue of mine right now. I would consider it based on if I had the right setup and certain parameters. But right now, I'm mostly doing local stuff, and because I do mostly soft tissue work, that's hard to do remotely as well. But I have done it in the past.
Yet we don't know. Who knows what the next 20
Yeah,
years.
until we figure out like the movie The Ring, and I can come through your TV. Yeah, but we're working on that.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate this. Kind of came out on short notice. We just got kind of in touch over the weekend, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other's. But that's all,
this
folks.
is great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll see you in the next game show. Thanks, everyone, for listening.